Hello and good morning. My name is Daddy Chris from SRTV London. For those of you who are familiar with this face, yes. But today is one of those days, one of the great days, and one of the days I picked on to address a very important issue in our nation. We're going to look at education in Nigeria. Have we really neglected that important sector? Do we understand how important education is? Of recent, the federal government of Nigeria introduced the student loan. That's supposed to be a good news. Is it well implemented? How about the whole educational sector? Has it really been sanitized? We had good cases, we have good news, where we now have private schools and the government school. We say, why not? Why private individuals are free to invest in education? But is that to the betterment of the society? What happens when we leave some people behind? These are issues we'll be looking at today on this special edition of Wake Up Nigeria. With me already, I have my house. The house is full and I'm excited. I have two able people already. I have Dr. Abdullahi Bach. Abdullahi, I'm not going to, sorry if I don't, he's from Nasarawa State University. Kefi is from Department of Sociology. Trust me, we'll be having a lot. I'll go to Doctor. Let me call you Doctor. Doctor, welcome to this program.
Yes, sir. You're welcome, sir. Thank you. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we also have a very able young lady. Her name is Manuela Masabo. Forgive me, Manuela. I know I can pronounce Manuela. You see, I'm in Nigeria here. I can't pronounce her names. Don't forgive me for now. Manuela Masaga is a law graduate. Obviously, you know how lawyers are. She's here, right? Also with us today to help us maybe look at the issue of education. Like I said, education is broad. We're going to limit ourselves to small areas. The importance we've attached to Nigeria, to education in Nigeria. Do we really understand the importance of it? What education can do for us and how it can be used to solve our problem? That is one of those things we're looking at. And like I said, we want to see whether the system is sanitized. It's dirty. We need to clean it up. And number three, the student loan. Thanks to the federal government of Nigeria introducing the student loan. How far has it been implemented? Is this the solution to our problems? That is why we are here today. And so I'm really excited to have these two people, and others will join, but I have these two minds. So I have a lecturer and I have this law student on the show right here with me. So I'm going to start the show with a quote from Nelson Mandela. And I know you two of you will be happy to hear this. Nelson Mandela said, education is the most important weapon which can be used to change the world. So it's an important weapon that can be used to change the world. I don't know whether you agree, meaning it can be used to change Nigeria. Anything that can change the world can change Nigeria. Now let's listen to Kofi Annan. These are Africans of sound mind. Kofi Annan said, knowledge is power. Information is liberating. Education is the premise of progress in every society, in every family. These are areas we need to look at. As Nigerians really appreciate these two, the submission of these two men. Let's listen quickly to Dr. Abdullahi from Nasarawa State this morning. Doctor, what is your take as Nigerians do well? Are we treating education as it's supposed to be in Nigeria?
Yeah, thank you once again. Absolutely. You see, the issue about Nigeria should be encompassing is one of the most topical issues that needs to be discussed over and over and over. In fact, no day should pass by without people like you, media, and then be talking about, sensitizing people about what is even education and the nitty-gritty, or to understanding what education means. Having seen what Nelson Mandela said, and then from the Kofi Annan, a quote that education is the premise of progress of every family. You see, for me, education is literally to everybody. Education is the process of learning where there is a tutor and then there are people who are supposed to be learned through that
Yes.
process, and in that
Yes.
process is an engagement. The engagement is there, and the engagement is all encompassing with dynamics. You understand? And that
Yes.
is why we need to really bring it out today for you to, I mean, for our audience to really understand. You see, education as the process of learning. What do you learn? We have learned over time. We have formal education, we have informal education. And over time, no man has ever been born in isolation. People belongs to one particular family or the other, and then in the process they were or they have encountered education. They
Yes.
have learned their norms, they have learned values of their society. They have, in fact, they have learned the rudiment of becoming who or what men should be. That is an informal education, and then to the point where education now becomes formal, where we learn Western process, or of doing things, and then as education being the bedrock for for bureaucracies and bureaucratization, then we really need to really look at this, and that is what I want us to look at it at the moment. uh, the ideal about education in Nigeria, the plight you are talking about, is sorry, is I'm sorry to say this thing, but you know, uh, from your age, what you have learned, the process you've gone through, has decayed from the times that I have passed through, has decayed from the time now that one of the other, my co-presenter here too, also has processed that. You see, is decayed. What is the problem? How has
Yes.
Nigeria ever looked at these situations? Were they able to even envisage that there is a problem that needs to be solved? Is there any priority to the educational sector?
That's a good one.
Yeah,
So,
let me go by, please, let me go philosophical.
okay.
You see, because I want to really critique these quotes. According to C. Wright Mills,
Okay.
1970, according to Genteska Mosca,
Hmm.
there are people, that talked about elitism, that talked about values. When a nation values something and give it high priority, people now sought to go for that without passing through the rudiments. For instance, now, if any nation value or respects a craftsman or respects an artisan
Yes.
as being, or a farmer as the high privileged and high prestigious personality in the society, everybody will start to go into farming.
Facts.
But
Facts.
where in this country we are just caged with certification, so the process of learning now is lost. What the educational sector in Nigeria is all about now is certificate,
I,
and therefore a value is sorted to that way.
anyway, doctor, let me
Yes.
add Comrade Abumiku into the show. Comrade, welcome to the show, sir. Can you hear us, Comrade?
Yes,
Okay, good.
thank you.
All right, you're welcome to the show.
Yeah, I can
Obviously,
hear you. Can you hear me too?
we can hear you. Obviously, your network might not be very friendly, because I can
Thank
already
you.
tell the challenges. And even Comrade Ev is there, still also having some
Okay.
challenges. Yes, we were already discussing, and unfortunately, my question was going to go to the young
Uh,
lady to see that the decay of education in Nigeria is a thing of concern. Like Dr. Riley said, it's a thing of concern. If we value something, what you value, you have to protect it. You place emphasis on it, you cherish it, and people begin to go for it. Now, education to the younger generation, when we were young, this is let me tell you this little thing, doctor. When we were
Yes.
young, to have a
Yes.
girlfriend, you gotta be in the university, meaning your ID
So you
card.
see.
You know you have a future. Girls following
Yes.
you. Today, If you are in university, you don't have anything. You understand? You are nothing. You know, the Yahoo boys are gonna
Sure.
make it. I'm just giving an instance. It's a decay of a system that is so important. How did we get here?
You see, the point is that we need to go back and revisit our primary education and secondary education. As a lecturer today, it is saddening to say that our secondary school, the proliferation of these private schools, have contributed immensely to the decay of our education system, where you see no word repeated a class. Ever in my days, I have not had anybody. Let me give you instance with myself. My son got second position in his primary school.
Okay.
I had to take him back and went to the certificate, the result, and called the headmaster and the class teacher. How did my son got second position? He cannot present himself.
Yes.
And how did he get? Is it because you are familiar with me? I have rejected this result. I don't like it.
Good.
Rate my son accordingly.
Accordingly.
So yes. So it is with that I removed my son in that school. I'm telling you.
Good.
Now it is known to everybody. Comrade Abinuku will bear me witness. In our secondary schools, in our primary schools, no common entrance examination that is checked. There is no quality assurance check. There is no engagement with, there is no even inspectorate offices like we used to have before that inspect the standard of these institutions. And then going forward, in the secondary schools, junior WAECs are just nothing. Senior WAEC, you will see SSC, GCE, you will see their exams are written on the board. NECO, WAEC are participants in this corruption case. Our teachers are participants in this corruption issue.
Even parents,
even parents,
yes, I'm happy you went to say no. My son cannot be this. Give him the right rating. You see,
good, but you see, it's because there is no policy. If there is a stabilized policy, a parent who sought his son to go to school must abide by the regulations. That is why I don't see the parent as important, because you are bringing us children to train. So you allow us to train them the way we want.
That's how it's supposed to be. Right.
According to the standard.
In fact, we should be celebrating. Let's hear from this younger generation. I'm happy you gave 3 instances. In my time, education was different. It was the order of the day. Parents went to farm. They suffer. They send us to school because they know if we go to school, we're going to have a better future. That was what our parents did. Then it went down during your younger generation. People like you had that. I think your system was still better, but I wonder what people like Manuela must have gone through. But Manuela, you must agree with me that you are now women. Women are now allowed to, of your generation, are now in school, and that is a plus, right? And why, from your experience, what has been the challenges from your primary now? Because I want to hear from your generation. What have been your challenges going through primary now to university? What are the things you see that could have been done differently?
Okay. Good morning, everybody. I would say some of things that should have been done differently in my own generation. Firstly, I would like to comment, just like you said, sir, in the present day generation, we have a number of ladies allowed to actually go to school, allowed to actually get basic education, not just basic education now, but university education. I'm a recent graduate of Ambassador University, Faculty of Law, and I graduated this year, so about 2 months ago. And I could actually say that in my class, thank you very much, sir. I can actually say in my class, we had more of ladies. So I was saying in the present generation, a lot of ladies are now open to education. They are not allowed to participate in education. They are now given that opportunity. It wasn't like in those days, like our daddy's days and your days, sir, where we see that women are not really allowed.
Get married, you know. So
They say, let's
We
get
get
married.
married.
Yes, and they'll say, after all, you get married to somebody and you're changing your name. So what's the need of educating a lady? But in present, they will see that even from my primary school, my secondary school, parents are now trying. They are now realizing that even females, even ladies, it's important that they are actually educated. And now, what are the challenges that we are having? I would say from tertiary education, from even primary, we see most times we have strikes because me, I finished from a public university. I finished from Amritsali University. And in the public university, and you see that there are regular strikes, although now it has been reduced. And what's the strike all about? Immediately about sometimes the payments, government not meeting up with the payments with ASU members and lecturers. And you see that these things are really, really, really affecting academic calendars in the sense that sometimes students have to stop schools, they have to do some other things. An academic session that should have taken, let's say, not more than 5 years. Like for me, I spent almost 6 years or 6 years studying a course that should have taken 5 years. Why? Because we had ASU strikes, we had some strikes within our university. So I can actually say that one of the challenges that we have is the government funding our university, our institutions, not just tertiary institutions now, but even basic institutions like primary schools. And I think I believe that it's very, very, very important that the government funds these institutions because now we need funding. When you come to the library in different universities, you see that there's need for funding to get books. There's need for funding to get basic equipment, which are needed by the students. So I think that that's one major and basic challenge in our university sector. Therefore, primary education. I also talk about students not willing to learn, and that's the fact. We have lecturers doing a whole lot, both for basic education and for university education. And you see that some students are actually in school. Some are in school, they are in school environment, but they do not want to learn. So I think that's like the state of education in Nigeria. That's basically it. Students not willing to learn, not willing to increase their own knowledge. Now I'll talk about something that is prevalent. If you're in Nigeria, you know about this, something that is prevalent. We see that most guys these days, they don't even care about education. What do they care about? Making money. And something I would normally ask, as a 17-year-old teenager, 16-year-old teenager, 18 years, what do you actually need to go the extra mile, like engaging in cyber fraud, just to make sure that
you're right.
Can say about these things is that they want quick. Yes, sir.
Go.
Okay, they want quick money. Okay, sir. They want quick money and they want to make it early. Some of them because of peer pressure, some of them because of environment and what they see amongst probably fellow teenagers or fellow youth. So I think that those are basically the challenge. Students not unwilling to learn and government not being able to fund this institution. I think those are the two I'll mention for now.
Yes, let's hear from the comrade Abumiki. I know you have a lot to contribute here because obviously, like Shirani said, with come of age, things are getting better. I'm happy our daughters are now given the even playground to study. In a way, the awareness of education has been there and it got better. But at some point, it begins to go down. People, like Shirali said at the end, that young people, teenagers now see the need to go and make money. Why go to school if I can make money on the streets? Cyber cafe is there. What, in your own take, what is the true challenges with the Nigerian education system today?
Okay, thank you for this great opportunity. My name is Abini Kumande. Shout out to Dr. Idris Bashir in the studio. Basically, looking at the issue before us being discussed this morning. First of all, I want to say that it is important for us to prioritize education. I don't know if you're with me.
We are with you, sir. We are with you.
We are together.
Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Hello.
Yeah, we are with you.
Are you with me?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
so I am saying that it is important to prioritize education. Now, before now, when Nigeria got independence, or even before independence, we had an educational system that was viable and all that. So now what happened? What really happened at the later end? Now we have gone as students of knowledge. We have gone down history and found out that in the year 19 between 1983 and 1984, things went bad. Students used to take bursary allowances in school.
Yeah.
They had 3 square meal prepared for
Yeah.
them in the boarding house, and
True.
they could enjoy so many things as privileges within the school. But what happened within that very year that I talked about? Things went the other way or haywire. Now, from that moment, the issue of prioritizing education, the issue of making education look very attractive to the young ones who are coming up became an issue of the past. So people now begin to find education unattractive. Most children, as they are coming up, their real intention or what they think is how to better the life of their family, because they have seen the true situation of their family. They've seen the ideal situation. They know what their family is going through, and they are part of those who are the receiving end of the issues that the family goes through. So their actual intention is to better the life of the family. And
True.
in trying to better the life of the family, they like to see what will attract them. So education, as we speak today, is no longer attractive to the younger generation because they have seen a lot of people who went to school, graduated, had all the knowledge, made first class, had all that they ought to have from an educational sector. Yet they've not been employed. Yet they've not been empowered to even operate their own companies or own their own businesses and all that. These are the gaps. Actually, these are the things that informed the younger generation to take some of these rash decisions that they are taking today, as we can see. Again, the issue of parenting, like Dr. Idris has mentioned, is also very fundamental, because as a father, there is a culture that you or a tradition that you have embedded in your family. As a father, your responsibility, or as a parent, your responsibility is to see that your children grow up in the right morals of the society. Now, by the time they are now choosing something different that does not conform to the morals of the society, then it means that you are supposed to tame them, you are supposed to stop them, you are supposed to talk to them, you are supposed to let them see the ideal picture, the true picture of being a good person, in as much as the society has always tried to undo that, by
Yes.
presenting other options to this younger generation. But however, one thing that we must not depart from as parents is to teach our words how to behave best, or how to have the best behavior morally. So the truth remains that this very generation has, both the problem of parenting, and then also it has also found reasons why it should find education unattractive. However, having said that, when you look at the country entirely,
Yes.
here we are, education has become too exorbitant for people to also go into. Now we heard that a former governor, it has been established by the EFCC that a former governor went to pay upfront for education of his own children, to the tune of how much. I think they have the records. They should be able to speak to that. So you see, now education has become so very expensive that the child of a common man on the street may not be able to be in school because the parents cannot afford it. Now we have the issue of the street children or out of school children. These are the issues that have led to that because of the exorbitant level of education. If education has been subsidized, has been made free, has been made very attractive. I am sure that no parents would want their ward to stay out of school. But economic strength, the purchasing power, would
Yes.
definitely
You
not allow them to put
yes.
their work in school. And as a result, it is said that an idle mind is a devil's workshop. So when you see a child moving on the street, he becomes vulnerable. He's vulnerable to all kinds of criminality in the society. So these are issues that government need to prioritize. Now, it is not a question of an individual trying to make amends or make the society better, but the government need to revisit the model that was used before the year 1983. They need to revisit that and see what best they can do to put the Nigerian education on track. Aside that, let me quote some examples. China, for instance, suffered so much in its economy before the early 90s. Now,
True.
China went back to see the kind of education, the kind of morals or the laws they have in their society. They revisited it, and then they employed a model that is all encompassing, meaning combining education. Not education should not be on the basis of theoretical alone. It should
Yes.
be both practical, meaning that at the level of kindergarten, uh, convergence in
Mm-hmm.
terms of acquisition, in terms of expressing knowledge, is being allowed. That is, a child who has an understanding of what he has been taught in class can translate that into a practical way, or
Yes.
let me say, into practical. For
Yes.
instance, if you are talking about a vehicle or a machine, and the child can translate that knowledge into a machine or a vehicle, if you can create something like that, then it means such a child can now take the practical aspect. So knowledge should not, or the test of knowledge should not only be by writing alone or by speaking. It should also be by the fact that somebody can also translate an information that is theoretical to practical. I think by the time that gap is being bridged, by the time our educational sector considers that, by the time our government considers that, I think we'll be on track. So China used that model, and today you can see all over Nigeria, China is doing very well. And we are angry today as a people. We complain, we say all kinds of things about them. But the truth is that they are also productive. If they are not, we will not have them there. I mean, here. That
All
is
right.
one thing. So we cry of exploitation, we cry of all kinds of things. It is because we have plunged ourselves into that. So government cannot be left out in all of this. So it is the focal responsibility of government to begin to look back to see how best they will be able to reposition the education sector. And again, looking at the tertiary institution, the tertiary institutions actually have poor funding. It has poor funding
Yeah.
because, for
Yeah.
instance, if I am a student, I have suffered to school from my kindergarten, my parents have been responsible down to my university, my first degree, and they are still responsible. And then I go to my level of postgraduate, which maybe MSc, and then again, I'm either the one paying or my parents are paying. And then I got to the level of PhD again without a job, and I am still the one fending for myself. The question is, should I, at that stage, having struggled so much, still be responsible for my own education at that level? Because my education should impact the society. And if the
Yes.
education I'm trying to acquire would impact the society, then it
Yes.
means that, like other Western societies, the PhD should be funded. The government should
Yes.
be responsible for that, so that I will conduct a research that will influence government policies. But if you check,
Yes.
there is a vast gap between the educational sector and the government. The government will produce projects, and at the end of the day, these projects are just dumped somewhere. You know, the highest it goes to is to go to maybe a repository, probably maybe of a university or of that university. and then the highest it will do, or the highest value it will add, is for somebody, another researcher, to research further
Exactly.
on that. You know,
Take it.
knowing that that issue is on ground, or it has been researched on. So
Yes.
at the end of the day, you find out that the government only operate, you know, on their own. They believe they have the wherewithal, they have the knowledge enough to carry out or to govern the society. And the society cannot progress with that kind of mindset. It must work as a team for it to progress. So government must begin to look at how the educational sector will be properly funded, the academicians, the school itself, in terms of infrastructure, and then the students themselves should be able to have access to certain grants, certain funding, to encourage people to say that there is progress in education. Today, the Generation Z are saying that school na scam. You know, in the Nigerian broken English, they say school na scam. Now, and we keep telling people, how would you say school is a scam? They are saying this because school, they are not being motivated, they are not being gingered
Yes.
to see the reason why they should be
But have
educated.
you asked yourself?
So all
Excuse
the
me.
things that
Have
we
you asked
are
yourself?
suffering today in this society.
Yeah. Go on, doctor. I
Go
really
on.
want to
Yes.
finish the mission. Yeah.
Yeah. My
Go
comrade,
on, doctor.
you know, Gen Z, have you asked yourself why do they even go
Yes,
to
sir.
school yet that they say school is a scam?
Yeah.
Have you asked
But
yourself that
Yeah,
question?
a good number
My
of
dear
them,
barrister,
uh,
my barrister,
a good number of
have
them
you asked
are
yourself that
only
question?
trying to
Why do
hit.
they go to school?
Are you with me? I've,
Yes.
I've,
Okay,
I have asked myself that question. A lot of them don't pay attention to what schooling is all about. They are just going to school. They are just there.
For
That
what?
is why we are talking about the standard. Most of them
For
try
what?
to most of them
What
try
are they
to
there
get
for?
people to compromise the standard.
and
They are just there for the
okay.
certificate.
I'm in the midst of
Good.
learned
They just
men,
need
so
the
you know.
certificate.
I know the young
Good.
lady here will know when I
They are
say
just there for the certificate.
I'm in the midst of learned men. So when I'm in the midst of learned men, I try to
They are
point
not
out.
interested in acquiring the knowledge.
Yes. So let us tie this down. Let's tie it down based on your submission. We have
So
two issues here.
they are not interested in the knowledge.
Yes. Yeah.
What they
Doctor, let's take it simple. Let's go one by one. We've identified
Okay.
some of the key areas. We know funding is one of them. We'll come into that, what the government is doing. But the overall understanding of the importance of education is so important first. Because the way our parents were able to understand that if I send my child to a school, it's going to be better. I'm sending my daughter Manuela to go and read law so that she'll be a better person. She'll be able to give back to me and become a great person in society. That is the primary aim. The government of Nigeria, the question I ask is, do they understand? Maybe we need the Minister of Education to tell us. Do they understand what education can contribute to the nation? Let's say this. In the UK today, the few educated Nigerians are lecturers here. Our medical doctors in the UK are Nigerians. Some of the accountants are Nigerians. These are people that are well trained and they are contributing to society. But are these people contributing to society at home? Can we see the impact of our intellectuals in the society where we come from? Let me make it simple. UK generate money from the education itself by providing education to others. Now Nigerians come here to study. We pay £14,000 per annum. 14,000 is enough to train a village. We spend for one child to come and study in the UK.
Yes.
That is a waste to the Nigerian economy. Let me explain that. So I'm talking about the importance of education, the bedrock of productivity, which we are throwing away. Let's bring Dr. back because we really need to. I want us to focus on one and then we'll go to the next. Let's put funding aside. But let's talk about the importance first. That's what I'm talking about. With proper education, we will not only be producing sound mind, people who will go out and produce, let's say, no matter education, without education can never be, the important can never be emphasized. Let's put it this way. A guy was running for office of governor of Delta State, and he said to me that, Chris, if I become the governor, I'm going to turn the general hospitals into teaching hospitals. I said, what does that mean? He said, I'm going to try and train medical doctors and nurses for export. And I said, oh, hello? He said, yes. I'm going to train human beings and export them so they go and bring us money. So education can be used as a tool to produce human beings that becomes an asset to a nation. And because my parents knew that, they decided to borrow money and send us to school. Has the government done enough in this regard? Have we even sit down and say, this is the role education can play for us as a people? Now we're talking of productivity. Between the language you guys are saying is, I hear productivity, productivity. How can we be productive without the right education? Without educated people? Educated people must be productive. I'm talking to doctor now, I'm talking to comrade, I'm talking to this learned lady. And I know I'm relaxed, I am safe because of the level of conversation alone. It's impossible for these three people to be unproductive. If the government can put that into the writing that once we have our people educated, productivity must follow. No matter the kind of education, let me use it this way. I know sometimes we underrate this. Why don't you study this? Why must you study history? But all education will make you productive one way or the other. And if we can understand that and build that into our national consciousness, that the first thing we need to do as a people.
Thank you. You're coming back to my earlier discussion. Good.
Is to produce human beings that will become the bedrock of our production. Let me put it this way. I have a case. Let me tell you, the Nigerian movie industry is doing well. Okay, but sometimes you find that they lack the technical know-how or the deep knowledge to defeat the rest of the world. Otherwise, it would have been number one in the world today. So there are so many things where education can help us. But have we, as a nation, intentionally, this is an intentional thing, like you said, I'm happy you referred to China. China intentionally, it wasn't an accident. They intentionally went back, begin to draw. They went back, they draw their map and say, okay, this is what we're going to do. So that if we produce also quantity of people, also quality of human beings, this is what we're going to get. It should be a plan. Has the government of Nigeria actually come up with one? Or we are jumping into it. There's need to fund education today. There's need to do this today. Politics is sweet. Let's do this. Is that what we're doing? Or we have really sit down and have it as a national...
You see? Okay. You see the problem? Thanks to comrade that has brought us back in the issues of the 1980s educational policies. And I didn't want to obstruct him because he was saying the right thing, but I was trying to just see where I could take him down on some issues. The present day Nigeria is that our population is overwhelming. And then
Yes.
we lack the educational infrastructure, not the institution, the infrastructure.
Okay.
So as compared to the student or pupils population, already that is a yardstick that ministers or government should take to revisit a better thought on education. Secondly, you see, we go back to your local governments, your communities. Aside from Yoruba communities that have been there, you hardly see community schools again. It has been proliferated. In where I am today, Kefi, we have more than 1,000 private schools. You will see somebody that does not even meet the requirement will open a bacha.
Yes.
And have a school, a bacha,
Yes.
a zinc classroom. and a private school, because even that same classroom, parents felt that is better than the public school. So now the issue of the consciousness, now the issue of the value reorientation. Let us have a consensual value. Let us believe, let the government put in the minds of the people that they are ready for education. They are only bringing out policies that exist on a package. They are lying to us. They do not, whether we talk about funding, not funding. Today, I task you to come to Nigeria, do a survey in secondary school, whether they have a lab, whether they have anatomy skeletal system where they teach students on all those things. They don't have. They don't. In fact, in my university or in any place, go there where they have science laboratory, whatever it is, ask them, tax them whether they have one reagent that they could use to check malaria or typhoid simolina. They don't have. So even the education, even the lecturers are faulty. We don't teach. We are brooding people that are not productive because, and also because that how we met it, and that's how we are doing it. Let's prioritize this thing according to comrade. Let us sanction people that don't do the right thing. Education, the university degree is not for everybody. University degree is not for everybody. There are technical schools. That is why we will answer the question of Comrade Abimeku. There are institutional base where every knowledge could be fixed. My dear, Nigeria is playing. We are not ready. It's just a government of a few who make a law for the majority, whose the few benefit from the law and then try to kill the system by their few and then iron law of oligarchy.
I agree. So, maybe we can then say that because you will not be, if you know the importance of something, like I always drop parents' analysis, because our parents know this can change life, they decide to invest. And our parents, if the government as a parent now know that education can change life, they will invest. And the way you invest is a different thing, but that would be one thing. Let's leave that one. Coming back to the government.
But how would they invest where now Abimuku said that you have had him? My dear, people can hardly eat in Nigeria because of the harsh policies. The government does not have a practical economic policy. Basic economy. This is basic. This is basic. Commonsensically, every government should have basic economics. We don't have. Our education, our professors have been rendered useless. Nobody uses them. Glory to Goodluck Jonathan and Eradua's government. They were using these people and their economy was better. So the government is not ready. They just came to scam people. Let me use the word that the young people say is a scam.
This education is a scam. All right, let's look at one important aspect, and that is really concerned. That's what concerns me most. Now, like I said, I embrace the concept of private education. It's good. It adds value. It quantity. But what is beyond my understanding is how can a private school, and this range from all levels, from primary, tertiary, and even kindergarten, how can a private school do better than a government school that have all the facilities? What are
because it is owned. It is owned by people who make the policies for the public school. Now, let me take you for instance. In 2019, I tried to meet the governor of Nasarawa State, Engineer A.S.Lu, with a proposal to liberate. To liberate all private schools in Nasarawa State, all privately owned schools in Nasarawa State, to liberate them and make them public schools.
good?
Because we have a policy that is only an indigene could work in a state or local government. Okay. So you found out from the policy that came during 1999, that is where they started to dwindle Nigeria backward. Before, you could see a Yoruba man as a teacher in Nasarawa State and rose to a director of education. You see
Yes.
Hausa man there doing the same thing. But now it's only a Nasarawa State person that okay, if that is the case, privately owned institutions are owned by people that are not indigenous. Okay,
Okay.
leverage them, bring them back to the educational fold, let them work pensionable. Those schools now should be owned by the government, but those proprietors now become headmasters working under government. You will still meet up with you will come up with a standard that gradually you will win them out, and then we will have successional planning. But because we don't have succession planning, then we do not have that. That is where the lady that taught you about about government hospitals. Everywhere you go, the same institutions, government institution that has the same gynecologist, the same consultant. The consultant has opened his private hospital, and then wherever you come, they treat you wrongly or badly here, so that they refer you to their
They
private
refer you
hospitals
to their
because
hospitals.
they know that government do not check. There is not quality check. And how do we solve this situation? We need
Yes.
to really be straightforward. We need to stand up for our rights, stand up and tell the people that we know how they run these things. For instance, let me tell you frankly, and I don't want to regret saying this thing, is that uh, what is it for government? What is it for government to empower educational sector? Because when you empower them, you are not only empowering the nation, you are empowering individuals, you are empowering family, you are empowering clan, you are empowering culture, you are empowering even the religion. People will not use religion to fight you, they will not use culture to fight, they
Thank
will use
you.
religion to develop the country.
Thank you. So, and that is one thing I said. But we're going to come back to the importance. That comes down to the importance. Now I'm looking at now Monday, comrade. How is it possible? This is beyond any human being on earth can be wondering. I go to the Naswat State University. You can see the big complex. Come to University of Benin, how big it is, large. And even Ambusali University, you see the space, this landscape, everything. Yet they are saying that a private school, a private university, which is like a mushroom in setting, is better than that of the state university. And people are now leaving our state university to the private one. The people are leaving our state secondary school to private ones. In fact, go to some villages, like you rightly said, you go to private mushrooms, kindergarten school, and yeah, people take their children there. Why? Where is this coming from? This is the government. If people, and the
Okay.
question I'm asking now is, if private people can make money running a education, how can the government not understand the value of education? Now our children, somebody said here, our children are now going to Ghana to go and study. The youngest spend 6 years instead of 5 years. What is behind this? It's a government, and the parents are sleeping. This is where the parents need to come in. Like doctor said, I think this is a need to ask question, difficult question. How can you have all these things? It's like you're in the midst of an ocean and you are using saliva to wash your face.
Okay. Thank you, the anchor. Dr. Idris Bashir had said so much earlier. I want to say that it is not entirely true that the private universities are better than the government university. I know that's not where the discussion started from. You try to create a nexus to link to that.
Maybe, yeah, I stand to be corrected here. Maybe I throw that in, yes.
Yes. I want to disagree with that, or I want to correct a notion or an impression. If you talk about the primary school, the secondary school, yes, that can be argued. But when it comes to the public universities, who are those teaching in the private university? the same lecturers who teach in the public universities are the ones visiting the private universities.
Private university.
I
Very
want to
good.
tell you,
Okay.
in their good numbers,
All
in
right.
their good numbers, they are the ones visiting there. So how would you say that someone is not doing well in his own base, and
And
then
it's doing
he
well
goes
in
out to
another.
do better? I don't think so. It is not.
Okay.
That's why I said it is not entirely true. So what I think the
Yeah,
problem
I agree with you
basically,
that's not true. But the young lady, because she's going to talk, we're going to come into your finance later. But the young lady rightly said that I spent 6 years instead of 5 years. That is not a sign of a good system. If she had gone to a private school, she would have been out in 5 years. If she had gone to Ghana, she would have been out in 5 years accordingly. So, and yet you're telling me now that yes, the public schools are universities are better, but you end up spending more years.
these are issues.
Yeah, go on.
These are the issues. These are the issues that we've been saying that the government should be more responsible enough. When government is more responsible, it will not allow all these skirmishes to come up.
Okay.
I feel that it's something that is at their beck and call. So they can decide that there should not be any strike. We will solve all the needs of the academic staff, the non-academic staff. We'll make sure that all our schools are on running 24/7. So it is the government that decides that. So in a case where the government has refused to be fully responsible, what do you expect from the people? These people, what they even earn is not as if it can really take them home. Their take home cannot take them home. But they still believe in the country. They still believe in the nation. They have decided to remain and continue to offer their services. They have decided to continue to offer their services in as much as what they are being given as take home is not commensurate to what they
Okay,
do.
I'm
So
going to come back to
at the
you
end
on
of the
this.
day,
I'm going to come back to
you
how patriotic
you
they
begin.
are really. I'm happy I have two learned men today. I have two of you here today. So I'm going to consider how patriotic that will be later in the show. But let us look at one important aspect. Because, and let's take it from this young lady first. Manuela, now
Yes, sir.
the
I can hear
government
you.
introduced student loan.
Yes.
Now, student loan is supposed to, I don't know why you take it, but let me put it in the UK perspective so that you can understand why I was embracing it. In the UK,
Yes.
you go and take your student loan, you use your student loan to pay your school fees. The schools are run independently of the government. That's how it is. If you go to university here, you pay £9,000 for your school fees. The school have enough to take care of these universities and do everything. And you don't have to pay this money until you are earning a particular amount of money and this is now a win-win for the government. Now they're producing good, intelligent people. Some of them are going out to work. They're going outside. They're going to America to work, train people in this country. And now students are coming here to come and study as well. But the bedrock of education is now going high here at the inconveniences of nobody, because the government are giving the loan. Students will pay back later when they earn a lot. Nobody is worried. But in Nigeria, you have a student loan. How are you people taking advantage of this? And I'm going to throw this back to Doctor and two of my able lecturer here. Student loan is here today. So let's hear from Afia. How are you people taking advantage? Now you have enough money to run your school. You don't even need the government. Is that the case or is it different? But let's hear from her first, whether she has even assessed the student loan, what student loan means to her first.
Okay. For me, I would say that the student loan, actually, the whole policy and the bill that has been signed into act by the president, I think that was in 2023. I feel like it's dead on arrival. Because if you look at the policies that has to be followed or the measures that has to be followed, it's actually a stringent one. And is it really, really accessible to the student? Is it really something that a student actually can easily access? If you really look at it, the procedures, the measures through which a student can get that student loan is actually very hard. And I can actually say that it's actually dead on arrival, because now you see, to get that student loan, the number of guarantors you need, the number of measures you follow, and not all schools, I repeat, not all schools are actually, not all government schools, government institutions are actually allowed to get a student loan. Like with what I've read, my school, Understanding University, being a state school, is not part of the schools to get student loan. It's not part of the school in which students can actually get student loan. So I want to say that it's dead on arrival because it really, really doesn't help the students. And for a student to be able to pay that student loan, is employment for that student actually sure? So I think that these are the things that really needs to be looked at, things that really needs to be assessed when it comes to the student loan. And I don't feel like for students or for those that are each actually in need of it, it's actually really accessible for them. That's what I think.
All right, and that is surprising because the last time on one of their papers a few days ago, they're saying that that the universities are yet to submit the data of their students. Are you saying that there is a discrimination in terms of who gets the money and who doesn't? I think by being a Nigerian student with your national ID card and the university saying confirming that you study at that particular university, you are entitled to student loan. Yes, sir. Go on, sir. Doctor, we are
You see, sir. Emanuela, thank you for telling us the truth.
Yes, sir.
This young lady is coming up and she has a very bright future.
Yes.
You see, Nigerian government does not have a valid data about her population.
Whoa. But not it, but those in the university. I know, comrade, doctor, I know that. But we know the number of people in our universities.
Hold on, sir.
Okay.
So, and they are bringing policy for the youth. Youth are the forces of production for every nation.
True. Thank you, sir.
And they constitute over 55 to 60% of every nation's population.
We are lucky. Even our own, we are lucky. We are lucky.
So now you have budgeted small amount of money because of political lies. You open up and say you want to give loan. And when you realize that the population is overwhelming, you restrict some universities. That is one.
Okay.
Two is that if they really want to do this thing, it's simple, sir. Because they know that there is no value that they have attached to who becomes a graduate.
That's true.
Because they don't see any graduate adding any value to them. Everybody working in NMPC is just going there, but foreigners come there to repair our pumps there. So since they know that nobody is productive in the field, so they cannot do a loan. In the UK, advanced countries, what they mean by loan, it is called a bond. That is the name, bond.
Okay.
They take you to, they pay your school fees, they give you loan to education. After you graduate, you serve the nation for a period of years. This, what's the name of our president? His policy is not in tandem with the reality, with the ideal policy. And that is why it's a sham. We in the academics also debunk that and also has kept saying that it is a sham. If really they want to do that and liberate educational sector, they should empower professors, they should empower academicians. Let us not be going out to teach in private universities. Let us engage us in our public universities, and then they will bring better and productive graduates.
Agree. I completely agree with this. That if the government, if they don't see, if they really believe Because let's go back to the simple analysis. If you've spent money on something and you believe that thing will bring a result, you will be sincere. You will be sincere in the approach. If the government is sincere, or if they know the value of putting the money into this student loan that is going to bring out human beings that will in turn bless this nation, I don't think this is a joke for anybody. Not for the government, not for the parents, not for us as a people, because this is the most important regulation I've ever heard. Because let us, massively, somebody said Nigeria is big. We are not bigger than China. We have enough land. So everybody in Nigeria can be productive if we turn them to. And the only weapon is education. And if the government have that mindset, then we are already 60%. Okay, let's put it this way. Other population come to UK, old people, we have old because they live longer. Now they have a challenge of who will take care of the old. Unlike Nigeria, where you don't have old people, the young people are all over, so they can be trained and they can be productive, they can add value to the nation. I cannot understand how a government could play with such an important policy. Say, okay, if I cannot, I'm coming to the university, so if I cannot fund you, let me give student money to fund yourself. Then I'm going to go ask the lecturer, from those of you in the ASU, can we say that if the government say, I want to take my hands off education, this is Nasarawa State University, take students, take school fees and run your university the way you can. Would that be okay?
Yeah, yes, but I can't single-handedly rule that out. Okay, universities can maintain itself, but to a narrow extent.
Okay.
The government, because in every society there are institutions, legal, education, governance, medical. You understand that? To mention this few.
Yes.
So why will the government be interested in paying legal, for example, and then wants the education to stand on its own? That's a foul there. Secondly, is that except where they want to privatize the education, and once the education is privatized, he who becomes a professor will be privatized. Now inequality will be at the highest order.
Okay.
Sir, Emanuela, Mr. Binuku,
Yes.
let us look at this critically.
Okay.
Look at the budget of education in Nigeria and then let's answer ourselves. So that is the only thing I can say on this, sir.
All right. I think I'm going to allow Comrade to come in here, and I'm still going to allow this. But I think this is a very crucial thing I'm asking, and this is really important. Now, supposing, because the problem is, and this is where we're going to bring in the labor saying that Nigerians should be well paid. It boils down to one thing: if a lecturer in Nasarawa State University is well paid, and he has a decent, in the UK, if you're a lecturer, you have close to £5,000 or more, you can afford anything you literally want as a lecturer, because nobody can have everything you want. But
here you cannot have
yes.
£200. Here in Nigeria, no lecturer, even a professor does not. In Nigeria, a professor's salary is not up to £200.
And that is the problem. Why would that person not run away to somewhere else and the brain drain? We're going to come to the issue of brain drain later, and which is another important thing. So, and I'm saying, but my take is this. So can we say that now that the government has introduced this policy, I'm asking ASU, why is ASU interest not say, okay, government, just like the way the private schools are able to operate, we want to collect this school fees, because it's quite a lot. And the school fees is not going to be small. I'm going to ask the young lady if she's happy to pay that. If the government say, okay, I'm giving you this amount of money as loan, say take 1 million. I'm talking to Manuela now. Manuela, 1 million is your student loan for this term. your school fees is 500,000. We paying that to your university. So that goes to the university. And I can go to Nassau State University. I said, Nassau State University, you have how many students? Maybe 5,000 times 500. That's a huge amount of money. With this money, you should be able to pay for security. You should be able to pay your staff. You should maintain the university. I'm thinking of this least amount of money. Will that not be better? Because the government is trying to carry something. It's look they cannot shoot. From my book, do you agree? And let's hear from her. I'm going to ask if the young lady is happy to, because the government cannot afford this. Let's be sincere. They cannot.
No, government can afford. Government can afford. Emanuela, sorry.
All right.
Yes, sir.
So do they have the money?
Well, hold on, sir. If politicians can do that,
yes.
A politician is only but a stem on a tree.
Agree.
In governance. Recently, a politician came to Nassau State University and every student will submit his passport under his constituency. Their school fees are paid or were paid upfront
by the politician. And you see, this is
by
the
the
problem.
politician.
You see, and we come to that because that's another aspect we want to take with education today. Because if
the president is a politician. The president is a politician. The loan he's trying to give is politics. It's not the real loan.
Exactly.
It's a Greek loan.
You see, and that's why I'm saying to the academician, the bedrock. Because sir, I want ASU to know. I'm coming to ASU. ASU is the most important organ. If Nigeria will be transformed today, the university lecturers must be taken care of and they must do their job. That is the only way they can produce the right people that will turn this nation around. Now,
I agree with you.
Government is crying that, okay, we don't have money. So government, okay, give us this. Take your hands off this. We're going to collect the money, and with this money, we can run our own affairs. The question is, how much are we allowed to charge? And if we charge this amount of money, the student will say, we don't have the money. Okay, don't worry, we have the money. We'll give it to you as a government. We give it to Manuela. Manuela, this is the money. Go and pay your school fees. Okay, with this money, doctor, take this money and make sure the school is run well. I am out of it. Manuela, you only pay me when you start working. Only when you earn a particular amount of money. Would that not be fair?
Okay, I believe that in a way that would be fair. But that's if and only if there is made available these jobs, and not just the jobs, but the fact that not just the jobs, but the fact that they are paid well. Because you don't expect a recent graduate or somebody who just needs NYC earning 50,000 naira or 30,000 naira, and they have to pay their rent. They have to pay that to start paying student loan bills at a particular time. So I believe that government should actually see to it. Government should actually see to it that funds are made available, not just and jobs are made available, so that when these graduates, when they eventually graduate, they're able to actually pay their loans, a good salary, job employment. I think that these are very, very important to ensure that after graduation, these students, these graduates are able to pay their loans. Now, the government should actually look at, which is very, very important, look at the fact that
I think the government will be thinking better then, because I know I've invested in you. I'm invested in you, Manuela. I want my money back. So I want to make sure you get well paid, you get a good job so that I get my money back. You understand? Maybe the government will be thinking well, and the issue of this salary, like doctor said, the 200 pounds. How can a lecturer earn £1,000? He's not going to do well. No lecturer will do well if they earn £1,000, and that is the problem. So if this is what Labour is saying, Labour is saying that we should be well paid. It's win-win for everybody. Now, if the lecturers get enough money, maybe 1 million naira per student, and they're now well paid, the student goes out and they get a good job and they are well paid. They pay the government bigger money as loan. It's a win-win. You understand? So
it's a win-win. Yes, that's true.
That's what I'm thinking about. I'm doing the arithmetic, so maybe you can understand. Let me come back. I want us to spend 2 minutes on this. Go on the break, then we'll come back. All right. So I am saying here, comrade. I am saying I ask a question, and this is a difficult one. If the government, we say, take this money, take the student loan, 600,000, 700 per student. I'm out of it. With this money, run your university well. Make sure lecturers are paid minimum of 10 million naira, because that is the minimum they will need to live well. If you're going to buy a car in Nigeria today as a lecturer and have a decent home, you'll be earning minimum of 10 million naira, and it's not a lot of money. We're talking 5,000 pounds. All right. If they can earn that one, and they say, okay, because if you calculate the number of students in the young university, and I'm sure that money would be easy to make. You know what? How I know? I look at the number of students in Nigerian universities. So with these numbers, there can be enough money to collect for the school fees and pay lecturers well. If we wait for government, they're not ever going to pay this money. So why is ASU not advocating for independence of the Nigerian university? Because the Nigerian government has failed us and they will continue to fail us. That is my question. Would that be fair? Is that something we should be talking about? Or we should keep just telling government to bring money?
Okay. Can I come?
Go on, sir.
Now?
Yes.
Can I come in, sir?
Yeah, go on. I'm with you.
Okay. When you talk about ASU should advocate, you ask a question whether ASU, why is ASU not advocating for that? Yes. The question is what ASU has been advocating for, which we consider to be very small, very meager. Have they been given?
No.
That is the question.
No.
Have they been given?
But the government excuses
not even gotten the small one they are asking for.
Comrade, the government is saying we cannot afford it. And now they come up with student loan.
Wait, but it's not true. Government can afford it. It is not true. Government can go as far as collecting loans to service certain things that we consider inconsequential. So education, it is believed that education is the lifewire of the society, is the bedrock of every society. We are talking about Nigeria. We need to improve, we need to grow, we need to develop, we need to be this. Without education, we are going nowhere. Else, we will only get other people from elsewhere who have been trained by their own government to come and develop our own country for us, and then take all our monies again to improve on their own economy. So you see, that is going to be a serious lacuna in our life. Let me put it that way. Now, when you are talking about the student loan actually is just a package. It's just an arrangement. You know, it's just a scam. Let me put it that way. It is not the education itself that is a scam. It's that loan that is a scam now. Okay. Now, how would you come up with a policy that has no clear-cut vision or direction? You come up with a policy that does not have that you cannot see it from the point of conceptualization to realization. You want to embark on a journey, you must know that that journey, first of all, is achievable. Else, you just embark on, let me say, a fruitless journey. So, we as a government, there's a need for it to sit down properly to think very well about a particular policy before it brings it up. It's not because someone in the government who does not have the wherewithal, who doesn't know what the policy is all about, but just someone mentioned it to him on the highway, and he will just decide that, okay, let me just go and try. Since I'm close to the government, I'll give them a proposal. Since I'm close to them, I'll be the one to manage it. I'll be the one to be in charge of the funds. You see, it is about the person's interest, not about the interest of the general majority.
Comrade, I agree with you.
It is not about the interest of the public.
Comrade, I'm with you.
Because,
I agree, comrade.
Okay.
But this time, the government is dealing with intellectuals. They're not dealing with laymen. And what I'm worried is, ASU is the home of knowledge, the home of intellectuals, the body of intellectuals. So, and government is throwing this at you. You go to him, okay, government, you know what? I don't even want you to pay me anymore, because your payment is an insult. I've been talking to you, you don't listen. Now, we can see sample. Most of us even have our own school. We're doing better than the one you're running. Give us this money in the form of the school fees. Pay your students, pay your children money. Let them pay us. We will run a better system for you. The country will start to produce human beings that will in turn give you better money. In fact, I was thinking that ASU should be sitting government down and say, okay, we embrace this student to pay your, give them more money. Let them pay money as school fees. We will take this money and run a system and begin to produce human beings that will become the products. In fact, the human beings are products already. You know the beauty of Nigeria. We have youthful population. So imagine if we have 50 or say 100 million graduates. Look at what let's look at what happened now in India. They went into tech, which is just computer. Today they are ruling the world with tech. And all the jobs, even in the UK, when it comes to tech, they're taken over by Indians. That is a country that intentionally choose to train their own people. I'm saying now, as you can sell this now to government. They fall into your hand. They start to give loan. Why don't you say to them, okay, we want your hands? Because you are not thinking, you're politicians. You have your lifestyle, which you're funding. Give us the money. Let us use it to produce human beings who will make Nigeria get to where we want to be. Is that not supposed to be the argument of ASU? Or rather than ASU kept telling government to come and how much is government going to pay ASU? Government, if you argue with government, they will increase from maybe 500,000 to 700,000. You see the drama with labor. They cannot achieve it. But I'm wondering why is ASU still in the same cycle of the same argument that kept our university where it is? Because soon there'll be strike.
Now, are you with me, sir?
I'm with you, sir.
Are you with me, sir? Okay. You see, this issue of we've been citing examples. We talked about UK. We've talked about so many other countries around the world. Yes. But let's tell ourselves the truth. Are you aware that these politicians or the government or those who form the government today are still with us? They are part of our society. They are not from a different world.
True.
So you think that what we see, the people, the crop of people we have in government are different from the ones we have down here? I don't think there's a vast difference. There are just very few individuals who have decided to be different. Let me put it that way. But until someone is entrusted with such a position, we will not know, because we have tried so many people. Mr. A came, said this, said that, and then it became a story. You see, the system itself has a lot of bottlenecks, a lot of frustration, a lot of dragging here and there, and all that. There are people who have decided to be saboteurs in every society. There are, even in our communities, we have them. When you talk about the issue of insecurity and whatever, you find that in your own local community, there's somebody who is the one giving information, who is responsible for giving information to criminals to see how they can attack you. That is on one side. So we are saying that a good number of persons in our society have decided to be bad. Means the society has decided not to change. So people have decided to be bad. So by the time you begin to say that ASU should advocate for funding, yet it may advocate for that. It may advocate for that. It may get the funding, maybe from the government. Let's say the government accepts to do that. But the problem of mismanagement, the problem of corruption, other issues will begin to creep in. So I am not saying that there are no good people. There are still good people. There are still good people. But we have a problem in Nigeria. The problem of sentiment. The sentiment that since I'm in government, if I must appoint somebody who will head that, he has to be somebody from my community. And if that person from your community does not have the wherewithal to handle that, I bet you there will be failure 100 times. So it's a question of the kinds of people who handle these things. And we must grow beyond those primordial sentiments. You are talking about UK. UK has grown beyond that. It has kept all these little sentiments and whatever out, and it is doing well as a result of that. But for us Nigerians who always want to hammer on where is the person from, are we from the same community, is he my brother, we are not looking at, can he really do that? Does he have the wherewithal? Does he have the moral stand or grounds to do that? These are the issues we should be looking at. Now, I don't even see that happening easily, even if ASU advocates for that for it to fund, for government to release those funds and then for it to manage itself. I don't even see the government doing that, because the government doesn't even believe in those things that we are saying. They don't believe in it. Government that cannot pay certain amounts, meager amount of money today, would they want to vote out money for that? They are only interested in how much they can borrow and share. That is what I see.
But comrade, I'm going to throw this now to...
That is what I see.
Yeah, doctor.
Yes.
Doctor, I know you want to throw in here. The truth is, at least the government has played into our hands.
Yes.
They're saying they're ready to give loan. All right, maybe the loan is not enough. We're going to take them by the words. Increase the loan. Take your hands off it. We will produce people for you. If you know, you are assuring me that if I put this money, I'm going to get this back. And that's only what I'm saying. Why is ASU not doing this? Because
Okay, sir.
yeah, go.
You see, it's just ASU just played an oversight role.
Yes. And you need to stop.
He who desired to found a state, must have it in his mind that people have vicious characteristics, people must be hungry, people must be fed, people must be sheltered, people must commit crime, people must be educated, and people must be savaged. So there is no point telling us that the ASU should not agitate for funding. It is a right of ASU to agitate for funding of the university. In as much as we cannot leave the university, that is our calling, that's our profession, but we demand the leadership, the administration of the university to be funded properly so as to avoid brain drain, so as to have, in fact, so as to have researches, grants that lecturers could work on and be used in the country. Okay? In this country, even the military that are highly respected,
yes,
and they are codified. Have you seen anywhere they have their factory for this thing, a satellite? Have they launched any satellite, security satellite? We have none of this we have in Nigeria. Even the common internet we use today is not launched in Nigeria. It's launched and borrowed somewhere by, So we do not even do anything. Even the government does not do anything. Talk more of the university. If the government wants the university to do something, then the government should fund. That is one of the answers. Second answer is that.
Okay.
Okay, let me hear you.
Okay, I wanted to say, when I say ASU should run things, I'm not saying ASU should be the one. Maybe the Nigerian University Commission is a good body that will stay, because the government is becoming a nuisance when it comes to
who installed
you know what?
Sir,
Yes, doctor, you know what I'm worried about. You know what we are doing?
Yes.
I'm looking at Manuela. and say, Manuela, look at where the future is going. You are the future. The future is what we are building now with people like the Manuela. If you don't impact, and these are the people to make Manuela become it for us tomorrow, we are saying, okay, please, you know what, government, I'm useless. This is the Nigerian University Commission. You take the money, make sure that they're able to produce good quality in your hands that will not only represent Nigeria, that we will go out and bring money to Nigeria. Let me put it this way.
What kills the university most in Nigeria is Nigeria University Commission.
Wow. Okay.
We are talking about accreditation.
I like that. I like that.
Well,
Let's go
we
on
are
a break.
talking
When
about
we come back, we're going to follow that up. The Nigeria University Commission, I thought you people would save us, but you turned out to be a nuisance from what the doctor had just said. But don't go away.
Yes.
Stay with us. We're going to go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll take on this still further. Stay with us.
Hooray! All is set for the second edition of the Nigerian Week London 2024. Another blend of art and culture, entertainment, business and networking activities, showcasing the best of the Nigerian music, dance, crafts, fashion and businesses. Taking place at the Gilles Square/Voltage Jazz Club, Daston, London. Postcode N168AZ. Date 28 July 2024. Tickets are available on eventbrite.com. For partnership and sponsorship, please visit Superior Radio and Television.com. Email info@superiorradioandtelevision.com or call +4407459513619 or +4420363287555. Come and experience the nation's culture that resides in the heart and in the soul of its people.
Okay, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Wake Up Nigeria, and I'm here with sound minds. I call them sound mind. Learned people, and we'll be looking at the Nigerian education sector. A lot has been said. Some of them I wasn't expecting. Like I come into an issue with a mindset, and I have to learn. And I hope you have learned as well. I'm still with them. I still really want to explore the issue of the Nigerian brain drain. It makes no sense. My take today is, which is the only question I'm throwing to my learned media is, if Nigerian government is not doing, now that they've introduced the student loan, I'm going to bring them right in quickly. Comrade is still here with me. And yes, I'm having everybody, and everybody will soon join me, and I'll have them right now, right here. So I'm saying that if Nigerian government are not doing the needful, why not we have a body like the Nigerian University Commission coming to say, okay, we will manage the school fees, make sure lecturers are well paid and they are well behaved. So in turn, the Nigerian education system will be sound. We will not need to send our children to Ghana anymore. We don't need to send your child to the high price education in the UK, which you don't need. So I'm asking that question. I'm going to have my people back quickly. Thank God Doctor is right here with me, and I'm going to let me remove this so that you have the name as it is. You see, Doctor, it's a beautiful day. I mean, I am blessed to be in your midst, and I'm saying, I'm not saying with all modesty. It is important that we look at this issue and face it for what it is. The government, I'm saying, they've displayed highest level of irresponsibility. We know how much they spend for themselves, for their side chick. But they pay a lecturer that amount of money. It's a recipe for disaster. It's the same thing as you pay Nigerian workers 30,000 naira, 50,000 naira, and you know that money cannot even pay their rent. What are you telling them to do? You're sending them to go and rob. That is why the state, the country is what it is. Then I'm saying that, okay, now that we know this, government, get out your hands out of, because we are talking of the most educated people, the sound mind, the soundest of all, which is the Nigerian lecturers. Now we'll be suffering in the hands of government for all these years. And I'm saying, now that the government have filled into our hand and said they want to pay student loan, they will not be saying we are charging too much. So we say to government, pay your children enough money as part of their loan, so that we can use that to produce them. So in turn, you have a better graduates to help you produce. That is exactly what I'm still arguing. And I'm asking if that will not be a way forward. Let me add a comrade also. So it's good to have your name. So that's my question today. Thank you. Oh, Doctor,
Yes.
what do you think?
You see, it is their policy. We were just there to tell them that don't bring policies that exist on a package. Don't make things unrealistic. But if they so want that to be, it is there, because that is another way to loot money. It's not just a policy, it's a way to loot money. These people you see, the issue of governance in Nigeria, there is, let me give you an instance. I don't want to quote. Look at Senegal, for example. Look at Cote d'Ivoire. Look at, go back to the times of Kwame Nkrumah, Julius Nyerere of
Yes.
Tanzania,
You are an
Kenneth
African.
Kaunda,
You are an
yes,
African.
of Zambia.
You are an African.
Yes.
But yeah, you are an African.
Go
Yes.
go back to the works of even the recent Nelson Mandela. They had an action plan,
Those are
and this
leaders.
action plan is constitutional based. The action plan is morally based. The action plan is culturally based. You understand?
Yes.
So here, these people come into power without even a base to lean on. They are just accompanying thieves. So you are bringing somebody that does not have attained university education, is not learned. You bring him to come and head an institution of governance. Uh, he will produce nothing. He will accumulate troubles and then begin to steal money, because what he only see is money. So, sir, I want to beg you, this issue of student loan you are talking about, you have heard from Emanuela, and it is true to state it clearly that accessing the loan is problematic.
Okay.
Who should assess the loan? The criteria is problematic. How the loan is payable over time is problematic. What joins a student loan with his parent? All those things are clear. Emanuela has answered this question for us. I think we should look forward to see solutions to help the Nigerian government in bringing back educational strides.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And I still believe the academic society are the one to give us the book, because we are well read. I listen to you, I see your information, I see where you're drawing your analysis from, and I'm quite satisfied that if we listen to you, we're going to have a way forward. And I'm going to come back to the last issue, which we don't have enough time to finish it, but let's look at the issue of brain drain. Now, and it's going to relate to all we've been discussing. As you see today, I want to give instance. Let's go back to history. In those days, the white people came to Africa. They took us as slaves. They didn't hate us. What they were looking for were human beings that can work for them. They took our parents as slaves. Today, they're taking us, the intellectuals in Nigeria, in Africa, are taking it. Let me tell you the British policy. If you have, like you now, comrade, if you want to relocate to the UK, I don't want you to do so. Because you have a master's degree, you can relocate to the UK as a highly skilled migrant visa. And they will ask you to come, carry your family and come and stay, because they know you contribute to society. Manuela, the moment you get your master's degree, and you just add 1 or 2 certificates of work, you can relocate to the UK and come and live peacefully, because they know you contribute to society. That is the importance of the education. The only reason we have Manuela is because of the Nigerian education system. So we cannot overlook the Nigerian education system. It's too important. Now, what we are faced with now is our people leaving the country to go and serve. Even the lecturers who are supposed to lecture, if you people are not patriotic, you want to leave. This is another big challenge I see. Now, Nobody can stop somebody from traveling, from living. I'm not in Nigeria at the moment, so I don't have the moral stand to say so. But the question I say is, how do we solve this problem? Because what you see here on a good day, I know it's easy to look like if there's a better life in the UK, but there are still challenges here. Yes, go on, sir. Comrade, I will leave money to throw weight on this. Yes.
Okay. Yes, you see the issue of people moving by the popular slogan Jakba.
Yes, the Jakba
People like to Jakba from Nigeria. Yes, the Jakba syndrome.
Yeah.
You know,
yes.
Has become the order of the day. Simply because of these issues. One, the economic hardship. Two, people now feel that there is a better place somewhere that they will be respected as human beings. They will not be seen as animals. Where they will not just be in their house and they will be kidnapped. Where if they want to move from point A to B, there is a good transportation system where there is not so much the issue of fuel hike and all that to not stop their movement, where they will have access to food, at least 2 to 3 square meal in a day, where they can have access to good health, where they can have access to education, where they will not be discriminated on the basis of region or village or town, where they want to go to a place where they can have all of these things and many more other opportunities. You know, you cannot see a good thing and pretend that it is not good.
That's the problem.
So people are moving because of this. Now, the question you are, before you started this very aspect of the discussion, you established that there are people with your MSc, you can leave Nigeria and go elsewhere with your family and start your life. You'll be taken with value. It means that you have a value to offer to that society.
Yes.
Now, this is to those who say that school na scam. This now answers the question of those people who say school na scam. At least they may not have this same opportunity. They may not have the same opportunity because they have said that school now come as a result of that. They don't believe in schooling and they didn't go to school, so they don't have what it takes to jackpot in a more luxurious way. Let me put it that way.
That's the
so you see, people have this consciousness that as human beings, they need a better life. They need a good life. They have watched people die before them as a result of lack of access to good health care. You'll be in a hospital, you find out that a woman, in fact, this is a practical situation. I was in a hospital. I took a family member to the hospital. They brought a woman from another hospital to that very hospital. And that hospital they brought her from is a government hospital. That woman was at the point of delivery. She was at the point of putting to bed. So the child didn't come in the right direction. They expected that the child would come with the head, but the child came with his leg. One of his legs is out. And then the other part of the body of the child is still hanging in the woman's bed stomach. So very pathetic situation. The child had died after the time they brought that very big woman to the hospital. Now, the hospital they kept it to themselves. They never mentioned it to anybody. They moved her down to another hospital. In that hospital, that's where the CS or whatever will be conducted. Now, they left the family members with the belief that the child is still alive. So when they went and had the CS, they removed the dead child, the dead baby. So when they brought out they still they still better baby. Let me put it that way. The
Yes.
woman who a woman who works there as an attendant, on her way out, she saw me outside trying to buy something, and then I asked her, "Madam, what is happening? Those people that came, what is their situation?" She said, "Ah, the baby died since, so the hospital will not tell us. They just kept it away so that nobody will say this or that. The baby had died since before they got here." So you see, with this kind of experience, do you expect people want to continue to live in such an environment where they have an opportunity to move? I ask you this question.
No, sir.
So these are some of the precarious situations we have found ourselves. So if you want Nigerians to remain in Nigeria and add value to Nigeria, you must make Nigeria enabling. You must make the environment enabling. You must make it work. How do you make it work? That is the question. Now the answer is all these things that we have mentioned. We've talked about the health care. We've talked about the basic amenities. What the sociologists would say social amenities.
Yes.
These are the basics that gives the society life. So by the time you take care of all of these things, I believe that Nigerians being industrious would want to remain in their own pace and add value. But in a case where these things are
And
not
that is
there,
why,
you cannot
let me
stop
succinct
people from seeking for greener pastures.
let me succinct
Hello,
let
sir.
me succinct
Go on, sir.
Okay.
let me succinct your argument.
Okay.
That is why
Thank you, sir.
Dudley Sears in 1970, Dudley Sears
Yes.
Yeah.
said that
Yes.
you cannot talk about development without making some fundamental argument. What is happening
Yes.
to maternal mortality?
Mm.
What is happening
Yes.
to healthcare delivery?
Yes.
What is happening to
Mm.
social inequality? What is happening to cultural dependency? And what is happening to
Mm.
education? And let me also succinct with you. Lee in 1930s
Yes.
has rightly said that people migrate not just because they lack what comfortability on their work, but some of them might be left out without choice for a push or a pull factor. And also, Tadaro has also said that.
Yes.
So if we are going to go continuously, we will agree to the fact that people do not just migrate for greener pasture, they migrate
Yes.
for social
Yes.
security. They migrate
Yes.
for social
Very good.
security, as you rightly said. People migrate for better inducement and incentives. They are offering their service elsewhere,
Yes.
but their mind is in Nigeria because they are Nigerians. Believe you me, go anywhere.
That's right. That's a fact.
So
That's true.
I had a student I taught. He called me one day, he's in Canada, and said, "Doctor, I know you're a prof now." I said, "I'm about to." He said, "Okay. Uh, do you know something?" I said, "No." He said, "I'm a rich man. I've bought a plot in Life Camp. I've bought a plot in Guarimpa. I've bought a plot Usetu. I had wasted my so productive life in Nigeria for nothing. My salary, I earn $5,000 monthly." I said, $5,000. I said, so in 10 months, I cannot get $5,000 as a lecturer in Nigeria. I cannot retract Sir, you are in London. You have had Comrade Abinuku. You have had Emanuela. You have had me. We are all product of public universities. Without retracting our words, we are the best.
I agree.
There is nowhere we cannot command authority. But look at us. So that is the problem of brain drain. Except you want to go into another issue, but whether we like it or not, I've given you a holistic, using what Comrade Abimuku said, a holistic analysis. If Emanuela wants to succeed in this country now, she either belongs to the people that know somebody in Supreme Court to be under his tutorship and be collecting money and be sharing, or else you should leave the country and go and make money outside. Now, practicing law outside the country, she will not practice law outside that country, but she will have to now do something else. So look at that. These are the issues. So it is just, we are just unfortunate as Nigerians.
Doctor, thank you very much. You see, what even my own take is, even if somebody wants to jackpot and you have the right education and you come here, you can get a good job. Let me put it this way: if you have a first degree and you can, if you have time to improve on, the only challenge why you see most Nigerians coming to UK not having a job is because they don't have the resident permit. If you have the resident permit with your Nigerian degree, you can actually seek for a decent job. And you will get it. The words they'll say, okay, go and do such a training, go and do social training to make your education mesh with, to mesh it with your own understanding. I don't want to call it standard. No, that's why the importance of education.
No, it's standard. It's correct.
Stay at home. Is go on, sir.
I said, like now, if I want to lecture in the UK,
yes,
I must write and pass their own exam.
But you can be an associate lecturer.
As a PhD.
Now, the way the world is now, most of them are looking for you. That's why I'm afraid that if Nigeria doesn't take time, people like you will not teach in Nigeria anymore, because you have the online opportunity to work and actually earn better money than stay in Nigeria. The online is a new world, and Nigeria is not taking advantage because the jobs, the few ones we have left, might actually take this job outside, and they'll tell you, I don't want to go and teach in this class anymore. You understand? And that is my fear. So, but if we take advantage of our population by producing more intellectuals, then we have enough. We begin to attract money with them. You can never.
It will not reach that. We will join politics. It will not reach that. We will join politics and decide the right way.
I agree. A political illiterate, I'm out, the learned young lady here, we know what we're saying, that a political illiterate are the worst set of people you can ever have. We must participate in governance. You must participate.
Yeah.
And I think what I'm really crying for today is, I'm happy we all agree on that. Education is so important that whether you want to travel out individually or you stay in Nigeria, education will make you different. It will improve you. It will make the society better. That's a fact. Now we go back to the challenge we have. And I wish I can have a way to say, I thought to be honest, I thought the student loan is a way forward. Obviously, I don't know what to say here. I'm scared now. But there must be a way out. And these are the discussions we should be having. We should continue to have it so that our children, people like Manuela, will not believe that education is a scam, because it's going to make Manuela different in Nigeria and anywhere you find yourself. You cannot compare yourself watching with Manuela tomorrow, because if she comes to the UK and she managed to do 1 year master's degree, she'll end up lecturing. And if she doesn't, if she chooses not to practice, if she practice, amen. And it is the same people that are doing this. We have Nigerians in the health sector. In all sectors, they're doing well, and it's because of education. Let us intentionally produce human beings, Nigerians, because we have the right population, we have the right age, the youth can be trained, and they can make us proud. They have the potential. It's enough to say, I sometimes blame the kids for doing Yahoo. Yes, if somebody that can do Yahoo, meaning is intelligent enough to be trained. Nigerian government should embark on taking them out, training them, and making them useful, so they can bring in money to the nation in a dubious way. I think that is the only cry we're crying. And we're proud of you, those in the academic society. We just want you people to do us more. It's a prayer that our governance will be better. So I'm going to end this show. I'm going to say, I'm going to bring in the last breaking news we just heard now. And I'm going to go to Manuela. You are a legal student. And Manuela, I wanted to ask you, because the lawyers, I'm going to have a day with you guys. I wanted to ask, what is the judgment of the Supreme Court, the judgment of the local court? Now we hear the state having one judgment, the federal having another judgment on the same issue, and conflicting judgment. Manuela, I know you're just graduating, but that is something that we want to hear from you guys. Yeah? So we're going to have a day on that. Today, we are with the academicians. But the breaking news is that it is saying it is possible for government to hold local government fund. That's what the Supreme Court has declared right now. Let's end the show with that. What do you think about this judgment? Let's start with Comrade. Are you there,
okay.
Comrade?
Basically, when you see when you talk about this back and forth in terms of the judiciary that is trying to wield power at the level of the local, the state, and the whatever, I think we are just power drunk as a people. And then secondly, when you look at the educational sector, the judicial sector, you find out that the judiciary happens to be one of the problems we have. Now, when I say they are part of the problems we have, politicians who rig elections will just go to court because they have the wherewithal, they have the resources and whatever, or they know somebody that knows somebody who is somewhere, maybe in the judiciary. At the end of the day, they just declare things, in their favor and all that. So when we talk about judgments going back and forth, maybe the state, I think they are talking about question of jurisdiction, right?
Yes.
I think recently, are you with me, sir?
Yeah, we do.
Are you with me?
Yes.
Now, when we talk about that, sometimes you hear that there is a jurisdictional issue, or what we call jurisdiction in terms of, in law. They will tell you the state high court it is not within its prerogative or jurisdiction to declare a particular judgment about a particular thing, and then the federal government or the federal high court is the one that is supposed to do that. For instance, the case of Rivers. In Rivers, what is happening? You'll be able to understand what I'm trying to say from that point of view. From seeing what is happening in Rivers. Why would you have back and forth in all of that? And then you just talked about the breaking news, which you said they are talking about it is unconstitutional for governors to hold LG funds, right? Is that part of the discussion?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it's a part of it.
Is that part of our discussion?
Yeah, very part of it, because the state court might say the governor have the right. Trust me. When they go to the local court, the government court, I'm sure most of these governors will take the case to their own court and they will win.
Now the issue, sir. When we talk when it comes to the issue of the local government funds, truly the state governors have overtaken advantage. They've taken so much advantage of this local government. They put this local government at their beck and I don't know. They make it as if it's their side pocket. I don't get where they just take out money from at any time they want. Meanwhile, this local government was created to bring government nearer to the people.
Thank you, sir.
Now, all these things, all these maternal issues, all these issues of social amenities, all these issues of what we call a lack of access to good healthcare, education at the level of primary and all that, is whose responsibility?
Local government.
The local government should be able to take care of some of those things in terms of the maintenance. When they are provided the funds, they should be able to take care of those things. We should have Panadol or paracetamol in the hospitals. But today, somebody who has malaria cannot get malaria drugs in a very small primary health care or whatever you call it. He has to go out, including Federal Medical Center. You buy every drug outside. I can tell you that. So I have experienced that. So I would say that. So you see, the local government has suffered so much in the hands of the state governors. And the state governors who always want to show power when it comes to the law, because they feel they have a state high court, they appoint the judges, they appoint whoever that becomes whatever, the attorney general and all that. So it is within their prerogative to decide whoever they want at a time to do whatever for them. And you see, that way, it is not just about the interests of the society or of the people that elected them to such position. Again, it's about their personal exercise of power. They just want to show power. That's why I started by saying that it is about power drunkenness. Somebody wants to show that he is in charge. Who doesn't know that you are in charge? Must you drag that? Must you argue that to the public space? You don't have to. Your job is to go and work for the people. It's not to join issues with people here and there. So I think our law must also factor in that you can invite a governor or a public officer who has served, in fact, provided he's alive, even if he is not alive, his family members should answer questions about how he led the people. Yes, for what he has done. If we don't have things like that in our law, I am telling you, people will take Nigeria for granted. They will take the society as if it is their own family affairs. They will run it anyhow. And they know that nothing will happen. So if you check what is happening, most of our leaders just believe that they can just do anything. They can steal any money. They said that Nigeria is like a river of money. It's a river of resources. It's a bank of resources. So they can just go fetch anything and leave, and it will not run dry. That's what they keep saying. And that's why when they are there, they try to steal. They try to see how they can create projects that they will steal plenty money from. So there are certain projects that you see that is not the focus of Nigeria, it's not the needs of Nigeria, but they end up focusing there. Why? Because they know that they have the court. Even if you take them to court, they will win you. Even if you want to challenge the government for not focusing on their primary responsibility in governance. Have you ever heard that a person in Nigeria, a citizen, has dragged the government to court about the government not doing or owning up to its own responsibility? And such a citizen won the case. Have you heard that before in Nigeria?
It's not going to happen.
People will not try that. People, yes, they will throw you out. But these things happen in other places. In the West, where you are, these things happen.
Yes,
so people must understand that it is the responsibility of government and the citizens to make the country work. So by the time the government feel that they are only the ones to make it, you are the only person to change, and they are not supposed to change. They are supposed to continue to steal, to continue to plunge people into poverty and hardship deliberately. When people have wisened, people can now see that these resources that they have are being taken out on a daily basis, and they don't enjoy any proceed from that. You see, so when even if you want to contest in an election and you don't have you don't know Mr. A, B, C, D, or whoever in government, you are not likely to win that election. I have contested twice in elections. I can tell you that. I have contested as a running mate a deputy governorship running mate to Umar Aliu Doma under Zenith Labour Party in the 2023 presidential, Nigeria's election. I contested in that election. So I can tell you that if you don't know Mr. ABC, you are not likely to even win. In 2019, I contested for State House of Assembly in my constituency. I know exactly what happened. The man that we contested the election with, that won the election or that rigged the election, said that the youth are just contesting because they are hungry, that they need money. That's why they are contesting. At the end of the day, we'll just give them money, they will leave. And I told him, you cannot give me money. You even lack the local standing to think you can bribe your way into me. It's not possible. And the man had to leave. I lost the election and I accepted that honorably. So it did not change anything in my life. It didn't reduce my standard as a person. It did not make me a low person or a low thinking person in the society. I still hold my views. I still hold my opinions. I still hold my principles. So the Nigerian government must understand that there's no point. Government is government, whether at local, whether at state, or at the federal. Government is government. There's no need to begin to show power. The federal High Court has said it, or the Supreme Court has said that, and then the state is saying that. Who is supposed to say what? That is a question. There are issues that are within the purview of the local courts. That's why we have area courts, we have magistrate courts. Those are courts within the local government, if I am correct. And then if we have a state high court,
That's true.
and then we have the state high court and all that, and it's the court within the state, within the powers of the governor. And then you have the federal high court and the court of appeal, the Supreme Court, and all that, all the other courts, the industrial court and all that. They are all within the powers of the federal government. So the issue of contestation between the state and the federal government should not be. They should focus on developing Nigeria. They should stop all these distractions. We don't want all those distractions. They should work for us. That's what we elected them to do. Their primary responsibility is to work for the people. And anything outside that or anything short of that is out of what we ask them to do for us. Now let me conclude. Let me conclude with the words of Peter Drucker. He said that if you want to predict the future, you must create it. So the Nigerian government must create the future that they want for Nigeria. If they create bad future for Nigeria, that is what will be. If they create a good future for Nigeria, Nigeria will be good. So that is what I'm advising the government to take.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyway, yes, we come to the end of the show. My last question was going to go to the young lady to ask them, because most of them that study law these days, they know that when the election is over, we're going to go to court. That's because I said, they say go to court. And I was thinking that I'll be able to ask her whether she's prepared to go to court and join the wagon of course, that's the only way they survive. We were in the law school, and somebody was asking the question. They said, he said there are some cases that you don't have in the UK. We don't have post-electoral crisis where everybody go to court. So if you study that aspect of law, you'll be hungry here. But in Nigeria, you want to study that aspect of law because that is where the money is coming in. So that was the question I wanted to ask the young lady to see how our society is reacting to this. But I think it's a good news. Thanks to the Supreme High Court for the Supreme Court for making this declaration clear. You rightly said these governors have abused and continue to abuse the fund going to.
They have stolen such money. Yes, they've continued to steal that money, and and underdevelop the local governments.
Yes, and one important thing which I take from you is, if Nigeria, and this is the cross of the matter, if Nigeria, that's why I brought this topic today, if Nigeria want to have a future, you create it. You create a future in your children. They say the children are the future. That's why it's a popular saying. Let me bring Manuela back, because I'm going to accuse her for this.
Yes.
Manuela, I have one question for you before we go. So the future are people like Manuela. We're creating them because they're going to be the future. We'll be out soon and they will take over. The question is what we impart, what we impart on her. That's what she's going to give her. A child born is a blank slate. You know, it's like a computer. You begin to feed the child, you begin to learn every day, and that's what formed the child. By the time you impart rubbish into a child, that's what the child will give back to us. And that is, if Nigeria want to grow, we need to build the future. But Manuela, I said the last question is for you. Now you know that your people in your profession today, you know, go to court, you know, the post-election money, you know, the crisis, you know, that is where the money is coming in. As a young person entering the profession, how do you feel that this is you went to 6 years now studying to get your law degree first. You're going to spend another 1.5 years again to become a barrister, only to come out and find out that the industry, what you shared is so much. What made you to even study law in the first place has been thrown in the bin, only because they want to make some money. Lawyers are not saying the truth. Now we have this drama between this court and that one. How are you young people taking this, and what do you think we can do, young lady?
Okay, I believe that the issue with the judiciary is actually something that is causing a lot of pain, especially for law students. This is because this is actually a profession you look up to, especially in Nigeria. These days you hear things like how do you study law in a lawless country?
Everywhere in the world, we look onto lawyers. Yes. Everywhere in the world.
Okay. You hear things like the lawless country, so why study law? And different things that are really heartbreaking. But I really feel like there's a lot of things that need to be done in the judiciary, and it starts with the judiciary and it starts with the government also. I believe that there are laws that should actually make sure that there is actually independence of the judiciary. Independence of the judiciary in the sense that the president having powers to actually remove a CJN should actually be like ultra-virus. There should be laws to make sure that there is independence of the judiciary. I think this will help the judiciary a lot. This should help the judiciary a lot.
We don't know what is ultra-virus, young lady.
Okay, ultra-virus is...
we know.
Okay,
God,
I think, okay, for those that are watching, ultra-virus is like acting beyond your power. It's beyond your power, acting beyond your power. There should be a limit to things that are happening, things that the government can actually do. Just like we have the 3 arms of government, we have executive, we have legislature, and we also have the judiciary. There should actually be independence of the judiciary. And judiciary, actually, there is low funding, and that's a fact. It's something that everybody knows. Even if you are not, you know that, okay, lawyers are actually sometimes underpaid, even the judges. So when we talk about the education sector, it's also same for the judiciary. So I believe that the government should look into these issues and ensure that judges, lawyers, and each and every one in judiciary, they are paid rightly, and also there's independence of judiciary to actually help, and it will also help to boosting the hopes of law students, because if you hear law students speaking these days, or based on what has been happening, some of them are not even interested in practicing. So we can see that an average law student after graduation, some of them they'll just look for other professions or other careers and not actually want to practice. So if we want to strengthen the judiciary, we have to start with the government and laws that are made. I think that's it for me.
Thank you very much. Anyway, thank God that the federal government, the Supreme Court has ruled that the act of the governors siphoning the money or taking or overpowering the local government is ultra-virus. I want to use the term of this young lady. All right, it's beyond their power. They should stop. So that is where we're going to stop the show today. I want to thank you so much. Thank you all for joining me today. You know, education is a wide issue. We cannot finish it today. I'm going to have this show again with the same people. We're going to fix a date, and we're going to look another aspect of our education. We'll be talking about funding. We want to stick one day just only funding, and we begin to dissect it, tear into pieces and begin to come up with a policy that hopefully the government will begin to learn and listen and take some advice. Because this is the kind of discussion that we should have on the public domain. For young people should have it in school. Lecturers should be discussing more of it. The funding of education is too important, but they can never understand the importance if you don't know what education can give to you. The way you go to farm and you bring out cassava and you feed, education brings more. Because education is the art that's going to bring that food out of the land. And without the people, we have problems. 90% of our insecurity challenges today, which is one of the biggest problems we have in the country, is because we don't have educated people. If you leave people, some part of the population uneducated, if you leave them unattended to, that is where you have this in. And another thing I want us to look at, which is going to be another topic, is the type of education that we have. Like a doctor said, that education does not mean only going to the university alone. The Igbo apprentice system has been proven to be one of the best in the world. But how do we add that into our mainstream education? That becomes our own that we're giving to the rest of the world. Sometimes all we're taking right now is what the world is giving to us. But what about what we have? How do we modernize it and sell it to the rest of the world? That is something we need to look at as a country, because it's about comparative advantage. There's something that is peculiar to us that the world needs to learn. But unfortunately, because of our economic situation, because of our mistrust and lack of value, we look down on ourselves. We think we worth nothing. But actually, like what the doctor said, people in the academic society, they are the best. The Nigerian academic society is still the best. But we need to make it work so that it becomes useful to the people. Thank you very much for joining me. I want us to have this show again. I will be coming back to you on this. So thank you, Doctor. It's been a wonderful time. And comrade, we want to work with you in your next election. You know, I believe election is about, you keep doing it. You keep doing it. I believe if you keep doing it will come. You know, people need time to be educated. I know it can be frustrating. If you don't give enough money, they won't vote. But the day will come. They will realize their mistake and think the right thing will happen. Thank you very much for joining me. So that's where we end the show today, people. Yes, my name is Daddy Chris, and this is Wake Up Nigeria. We didn't have opportunity to look at the papers today, but I hope Mary will have time to do that with you on the next edition of the show. Thank you very much for joining me. Stay out of trouble, and may God bless you, and may God bless that beautiful nation called Nigeria. Thank you. God bless.
Looking for a home away from home in Abuja? Look no further than SRTV Shortlet Apartments. Our fully furnished apartments offers everything you need for a comfortable and relaxing stay. Unwind in spacious rooms with exquisite ambience. Cook delicious meals in our well-equipped kitchen and relax in our comfortable sitting rooms watching your favorite shows. And guess what? 247 Wi-Fi available. But that's not all. SRTV goes extra mile by providing a car to take you around town during your stay. No need to worry about navigating public transportation or hailing taxis. Explore Abuja at your own pace. Book your SRTV Shortlet apartment today and experience the perfect blend of comfort and convenience.
SRTV.